Alright, this is my rochobby 6x6. I've already done a few things to it. These are the wheels off of a stock Bronco. These are some extra wheels I had laying around. The wheels that come on this are beadlock. And these are the Traxxas Mickey Thompson tires. They were a tight fit in that beadlock, but I got them on there. The stock tires that come on it are very skinny. They're the same height, but this is the canyon trail off of the Defender, and that's the one that comes on the 6x6. It's just skinnier. So I put the Bronco ones on there. But anyways, today what I want to do is this is the transmission and motor out of the 6x6, and I want to put a traxxas motor in there.
Good job.
And we are going to see if we can get that to fit. A couple of things I wanted to make sure worked before I did that were the drive shafts. I wanted to see if the 6x6's drive shaft would go onto here, and it does. The hole in the drive shaft is not D-shaped. Like the Traxxas one is, but the screw goes through it and holds the drive shaft on there, so it will work. And the other thing that I wanted to make sure would work were these links. This is the Traxxas skid from a Defender or Bronco that will hold the transmission, and these are the stock links from the 6x6, and they look like they will work. So what I did here was I took, this isn't pretty, I know it's not, but these are some shock ball ends, like from the ends, the shocks of a trx4m, the ball ends of them. I took them out and put them in here, like, because the 6x6 has these ball things that these clip onto. I don't know if everybody knows that or not, but that's why I had to do that, because these pop onto a ball and they don't have anything in there. So I tried using some of these plastic ball ends from an original Traxxas Defender or Bronco, and these things get too marred up trying to squeeze them into these ends with pliers. But they're in there and they work. Like they move kind of freely. So basically where I'm at next is there's a hole where I'm gonna need to cut some of the floor out of the 6x6 up in there. There's a bump in the floor right there where that screw is, and that needs to come out of there for that motor to have room to go up in there. That's probably the next biggest hurdle. And then once that's out of the way, honestly, then it's just seeing if the drive shafts that came with the 6x6 are going to be the right length to meet up with the Traxxas transmission that would be in there. So let's get to it and figure it out. Okay, here's how I've chosen to do this. I've got a soldering iron with a X-Acto knife basically welded onto a little bolt that'll go into my soldering iron. So that's getting nice and hot on there. And I've cut some already. If you can see this, I just kind of wanted to make sure that would work. And I figured I would make sure it worked, and then maybe I'd take you along for the last little cut that's going to get that piece out of there. And it's probably also going to be the most difficult, honestly, because I can't really get into that angle very well, but we're going to see what we can do here.
Yeah, that's gonna... Maybe if I just take this piece out first. I'm not too concerned about what that screw's holding because it's not going to be holding it for too much longer. All right. Alright, cool. So it looks like we're going to have lots of space right on the other side of that wall. So I'm just going to finish cutting that out. Alright. It's not the most pretty, but I'm going to get that cleaned up and then we're going to see if that motor will fit up in there now.
Alright, so quick update on the cutting that I had to do. I got this section all cut out so that traxxas motor would have room to fit up in there, and I tried to put it up in there. And then I needed to cut out the side too for the transmission. So now we're going to try again and see what we get. Alright, so the last little piece I think I need to address is the pinion angle. When I give it some throttle, this joint right here makes everything sound really crunchy. And I need the axle to be twisted a little bit more this way, like to put that drive shaft a little bit more in line. Because the drive shaft was at an angle. They were like this with the old transmission, and now they're straight, and it's just affecting the angle of this a little bit. So I have some old original Traxxas trx4m rear links that I'm going to try. They're just a little bit shorter than these ones, and I'm hoping that's going to bring that angle in what I need. Doing any kind of work to the suspension on this is kind of a pain in the butt because it has these pivot ball things that the stuff presses onto. So it's really kind of a pain in the butt to go ahead and change any of this. But what I did was I pressed one of the balls from a Traxxas thing into the end of the shock, which wasn't pretty, but all I wanted it to do was take up the space in there so it's not flopping. And then I'm going to have this. Well, I'll mount one up and show you how I'm going to do it here. It's custom. It's custom, boys. You know? We got a hand driver for that one. My pen's dying, or it just doesn't have chowder enough for this. Did just take it off the charger, but I'm gonna have to tighten those by hand. Boys, look at that pinion angle. That looks so much better. Alright, let me go get the controller and we'll try that. Alright, like I said, this is the Traxxas motor and skid in the FMS 6x6. Let's give it a try, and I'll tell you right now, I know that the gears in that transmission are a little crusty, but I wanted to get it up in there and mounted and make it worth buying some new gears and stuff for, maybe even a new motor. There's that. Oh, look at that. Cool. All right, now another thing I wanted to see is, does the climbing mode work still? All right, does the climbing mode work still? Let's try that out. Okay, here's how we wound up. So I have traxxas arms, upper and lower, on the first axle, and that pulled this axle forward some, which now is going to make it so that this drive shaft is right on the edge of its extension. The screw is the only thing that's like holding it together. So I'm gonna have to come up with something for that. And because these links are shorter, the travel's not quite the same. It's like less. So I mean, I could live with that if I can get this fortified enough. That's not gonna handle any kind of power. When I actually like need these to grip on something, that's gonna break. So we'll figure that out. And another thing that I've done to this is I have Traxxas trx4m shocks in the back and in the front, and they are filled with oil, just to keep this thing from bouncing all over the place like an FMS usually does. But one of the biggest disappointments that I've had with this thing right out of the box, and why I don't actually like feature it a little bit more on my channel, is so this thing's on right now, and the steering doesn't work. So when I got it out of the box, I played with it for like 5 minutes, and the steering did work, and it cuts out. I don't know if this is an FMS thing that, like, I don't know if my kids might have pushed a button on here or something that I didn't see and messed with a setting. I'm not sure, but the steering keeps cutting out on this thing, and it doesn't work. This is with the 4M transmission in there and motor. So that's pretty cool. Let's get a little video of it flipped over with the drive line working. That traxxas motor up in there, baby. It still feels like it has no power for some reason. Like I said, I know those transmission gears, like something in there sounds a little crispy. I couldn't figure out what it was. But now that I have the skid and the transmission up there and everything fits with traxxas pieces, maybe now I'll do an Endura Pro motor and some crawler gears in there. Crawler gears are going to snap these puny drive shafts. I need to have something in mind for that. Coming along. We'll get there. This is going to be my custom tow rig is what I want this to be. I'd like to have a gooseneck attachment in the bed and tow. Maybe that with it. Something like that. You know? But yep, I'll keep you posted as I keep doing some work on the 6x6 because this is going to be a completely custom build now that I've torn into it like this. All right, we'll catch up to you later. Bye.